Hello, everybody. I'm just going to wait for the live stream to catch up. I'll come on back on the screen and say hello quickly. And I'm going to switch back to my desk right away. So just kind of wait. Okay, I see it's live on YouTube. So I hope everyone's having a great night, great week. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Walter. Hi, Francie. Hi, Shirley. Thanks for letting me know about the links. The very first links don't work for some reason. I copied and pasted them, so I reposted them. They're the 3 Christmas bundles that we have available right now. Good, good, good. So tonight we're going to play with the traditional Christmas in July bundle. It's the only bundle I had everything of. Hi, Marlene. We'll go through the bundle quick, and then we're going to add just a little bit to it. And that's because I need, ink, and we need white paper. But other than that, I'm going to try to just use what's in the kit, okay? So in the kit, this is the traditional Christmas in July kit. You get the zigzag lines stencil, and I have mine out because I was pre-doing that. You get the traditional trimmings paper pad, which if you can't tell, I really love it because I bought 3 of them. I bought 3 of them. So I haven't opened 2 of them yet. And they've got some beautiful papers in them. So we're going to try to use some of that tonight for sure. You get the St. Nicholas stamp set and the die set, which has great happy holidays, ho, 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 celebrate the seasons, Merry Christmas, snowflakes, a present, a truck with a tree in it, St. Nicholas himself, a snowman. So great little all around occasion set. You get the holly piercing cutting plate, which I have not even really technically ever used. I don't think. And that comes with 2 pieces. This piercing plate, which you can see the piercing, and then you also have the outline so you can cut it out. So we'll probably play with this tonight, at least once. We might not get a card made with it if we do some fun glittering with it, but then you also get the occasional die set. Now you'll have to forgive me. It does come in a 6x8, but I've cut mine down to fit in my envelopes. But these are all of the dies that you get with it. It's a great set. It's got lots of all the other holidays in it, but you've got your wreath, your candy cane, your present. There's a star. You've got some tags, and I love piercing dies too. And this is a pocket, and then some designs that you can use to create, so you can make like a gift card pocket. And then you get Jurassic and Scarlet card stock. And then you also get in this one, you get the green and red chroma glaze and the green and red, or the scarlet and emerald glitter glaze. So I'm going to open them up so you can kind of see them if you haven't seen them before. Hi, Karen. So this is fuller than it's super full because I had just a little bit left in the bottom of a jar and I threw it in there yesterday. So I'm trying to use up the silver ones are older jars. We now have them with the black lid or the white lid. And so I'm trying to use those up. So here's the emeralds. And then we've got our chroma glazes, which they dry glossy kind of. Hi, Crazy Cat Lady. So let's get started. I don't really have anything planned other than to use the kit. So the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp out my images because I want to let them dry. So this is where we're going to veer a little bit from the kit. I'm going to get some perfect blend paper out because it is my favorite. So we can do a small bit of coloring. It is very sparkly. So I'm so excited. It's a week from tomorrow. I go down to, sorry, that's Fletch. Hey, sorry about that, you guys. Must be someone in the neighborhood. Yep, there's a guy running by. Hi, Lori. So we're protected. Sorry about that. He's protecting us from the runner. It's on the opposite side of the street. Silly Billy. So anyway, I got a hotel room yesterday. I decided to get a hotel room. I fly out of Cedar Rapids, and I decided that I could get a really inexpensive hotel room and I don't have to sleep. I don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to the airport. So you're okay, pup pup. The neighbor dogs are barking too. Hey, I'm sorry, you guys. Come here. Come here. He's in love with the girl across the street. He's a good boy. He is. And I don't chastise him for barking but I'm going to go say, calm him down. Give me 1 second. Okay. Thank you. No, come here. Come here. Calm down. No, you're not going outside. Oh. Thank you, you guys. I apologize for that. He's usually so good. No, it's my, he is, you know what, Melissa? That's his bark all the time. He sounds so ferocious and he's not. I mean, his tail is wagging, but he loves the little girl across the street. The little female girl, I should say. Her name is Lady. And, but he doesn't ever want to get close to her. He just likes to look at her. So I sent him outside. So I don't chastise him for barking because I don't know if it's true, but I don't want him to ever not bark. When, there's somebody in the neighborhood, I always tell him, thank you for protecting us. Oh my goodness, who are we barking at? And if it's somebody we know, hi, Ellen. So I sent him out. He's out barking at the neighbors. So I just have some Perfect Blend paper and the Raven Detail ink. And I'm going to re-ink this or stamp this a couple of times, mostly because I've said this many times. I use my ink pads all the time. A lot of times I keep them uncovered because I'm not smart to remember to do that. Thank you, you guys. Hi, Susan. Oh, he doesn't do a ton of barking necessarily unless it's a strange dog. But I think he was kind of sleeping and he heard a bang. And of course, this is the sad part is there's 11 dogs in 4 houses. I have one. Straight across the street from me is 3, and next door to them is 2, and then across the street, because we're on a corner, there's 3, and then next door my neighbor has 1, and then her boyfriend has 1. So there are a ton of dogs. Hi, Tia. So, sometimes when they all get set off, then he's really barky, but usually it's only because he wants to go outside because he sees everybody barking. So, all right. I think I'm going to do one more little spot just because I'm not quite getting it in right here, just because I need to re-ink. I re-inked all my Simon Hurley inks, but I didn't. Yeah, or a guy running. Exactly. I don't think that's what set the neighbor dogs off. And then I think somebody shut a door and he heard that bang. And then he was like, I got to jump up and go see and save mama. Save my mama. So, and I know I told you guys last week, the fish flies or the mayflies, as we also call them, are out. Oh, we went for a quick walk tonight right after dinner. And they are just as bad this week. I'm so over summer. Other than the fact that I got to wait for Create Your Own Ending. Then I can be over summer. So I'm super excited for the Create Your Own Ending. Like, I can't believe it's next week already. So I'm going to let these set aside just a little bit to soak into the paper, and then we'll kind of work on some of the other elements. It's not super. I mean, like the 3 dogs across the way are Cocker Spaniels. They don't really bark much, but the neighbors' dogs across the street, the 5 that are right next door, they bark at everything. And they're getting better, but they do bark at everything. So can be annoying, but I've gotten kind of used to it, and they've gotten to the point where they know they need to, if the dog's barking quite a bit, they need to go bring their dog inside. Because you can't have a dog barking for over, for 30 minutes or longer. So here's some Scarlet cardstock. We're going to cut this down to A2 size. And I think I'm going to cut one of these down. I can't wait, Lori, either. Let's see here. I'm going to cut this one down to 3.5 for a slimline card, or maybe a mini slimline card. I haven't decided yet. So, but at least we're ready. And then I always save these pieces because they're good for, all sorts of things. Let's cut some Jurassic down while we're at it. So I want to use both colors. So I do have some cut for A2, but let's cut down one for a mini slim or a slimline card. I cannot wait. I am so looking forward to it. Last year, it was my bucket list. I went, when I went to see a Wiley, and I got to go, and I'm going to cut two. I didn't think I didn't know for sure if I'd go again, for sure. Get to go again, and now I get to, and I'm so excited. So I've saved my vacation days for it, and it's going to be fun. So tomorrow's the last day of Firework Frenzy, so make sure if you want to order any of that stuff. Hello, Stacy. How are you? I'm coming to Cedar Rapids next week, but it'll be after you're closed. I'm flying out to Pittsburgh, and I got to fly out. I'm staying in the hotel near the airport. So, and of course, when I get back, I don't land until like a 10:30, so I don't get back home till like midnight. So, oh yeah, we're gonna have a blast. We're gonna have a blast. I'm excited. I'm teaching a make and take. So, but that's all I'm gonna say. So, I've got some ideas in my head about what we're gonna do. So, all right, we got some stuff down. I want to do a little bit of glazes. I want to do a little bit of the glitter glaze on my with the green, because I didn't do any prep for that beforehand. So I'm going to do ahead that, and I'm going to pixie spray this. Any of these that are like this, I like to pixie spray because we're going to use glaze. So I'm going to do that off camera over here. And I've said this a million times, I am a heavy pixie sprayer. So a lot of times if you're going to ink embossing powders or stuff, it won't work for me because I add too much pixie spray. But when I use glazes, I like lots of pixie spray. But I think we're going to do this a little bit different. I don't want to do the whole card. So I'm going to do this at an angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab, this is just, I don't think so, because we have they have an event next weekend, Stacy. It's starts Friday and it ends on Sunday. So we have our Create Your Own Ending event. So I'm going to go ahead and just block off some of this. This is just some of I don't know if this rainbow tape is available anymore, but it's just kind of like Post-it note tape. And you know me, I try to use some stuff up. So I don't think so, because we're all hands on deck for the event. All right, and I think that's all I need to tape off. So you leave for what time do you leave on Friday? I'm assuming you're flying out on Friday. Maybe we'll see each other at the airport. I fly out on Friday, but I fly out early. So I'll text you. You don't have to answer me here. I'll text you. We'll see if we're going to see each other. Or maybe you're not early. I am. So I'm just going to grab some of this. Is the emerald. And we're just going to put it on. And so the emerald and Jurassic are a couple different green tones of green, but I think it'll be fun for a tone on tone. This zigzag one is kind of fun because it's kind of like a sweater, but yet it's kind of like a, you could do it almost like a swirl or a candy cane type effect. So I'm trying to be real careful because I just kind of got it. And I'm trying to be a little heavier with it. Now this might not dry in time for us to finish a card tonight, but we will try our best. All right. Oh, okay. I fly out at 6:30 and 6 o'clock in the morning. So I will already be in Pittsburgh at that time. I land in Pittsburgh around 11. So, super excited. But I do have plans to come and see you very soon. It just has to get it on my radar. Things have just been so crazy around here. So, those of you, I know you've asked, and I know nobody, just an update. My dad seems to be doing okay. We're kind of in a holding pattern. So that's good news. I mean, it seems like every 3 days we have to call insurance. My mom has to call insurance and get him on insurance. But all right, are you ready? But so far, all right. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And I did it thicker because sometimes when you do it a little thin, it's like a clear glaze to start. You can see the cardstock underneath, but I want to do it thicker. So this may not drive. Oh, yeah. I actually, I decided not to take the early flight back on Monday. I could have, but I was like, I don't know if I want to get up and go to the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, which I probably should have, but I'm taking the 3 o'clock in the afternoon flight. So by the time, but I got to go to Washington Dulles from Pittsburgh before I go home. So I don't have a bucket of water, so I'm just going to kind of wipe this off. I'm not super picky about getting my stencils if they don't get super clean, especially after like glitter glaze, because I can usually scratch it off if it's bothering me a little bit. All right. That will work. Awesome. Thank you. It is pretty. Oh, thanks, Francie. He's, I don't think he always, to be honest with you, he really doesn't know what's going on, so that's probably okay. Yeah, they didn't fly into Pittsburgh, so I understand that, especially Vegas. I know because my boss sometimes, when he goes to Arizona, he's got people flying into Vegas while he's there for the winter. So he's always talking about that early flight. All right, I did do the same thing so this is where we derived a little bit from the kit. I used some Not Your Mama's, and this is the Scarlet. So I have this one ready to go, so we can create a card with it. I also did a little bit just swirling it because I didn't have any more room, and I didn't have a lot left. That's awesome, Ellen. You know what? I love glitter glaze on a stencil is actually, I think I just wiped glitter glaze on my face, is actually one of my favorite ways. And then the other way is to create like glitter paper. So I just used the leftover and I did just a little bit on this one, and we'll figure out if we're going to use those or not. But I've got this one ready. So let's start making a card. This is an A2. We're going to cut it down. I'm actually going to cut it down to, actually, I think I might do 3.75. And then 5. But we're going to do a little bit off each. Yeah, let's do a little bit off each side so we get to kind of keep the pattern as much as we can. There we go. All right. So we've got that. The red is very, very pretty. And you can see, this is where I was talking about where I had some that was a little bit thinner, and here's where it's a little bit thicker. So the thicker you get, the full coverage you get. When you do a little thin, you can get some of the clear underneath. It all just kind of depends on the mood, and I was in a hurry last night. I like the imperfection of this one versus the green one. I tried to lay on really thick. So let's go ahead and we're going to layer this on some cardstock. And of course, I did cut that down. I might cut this down a little bit farther. I think we're going to cut it down to 3.5 and then 4.75, which is going to cut that top and bottom off just enough so we have that white. I like that. It's Francie, the one thing that's nice about it is that you can go with the imperfections a little bit. So with that, I am going to do some craziness. I don't usually do this, but look, I said I have this paper. I love it. I think we're going to go ahead and grab some of it. We can flip through them very quickly. They usually come mixed together, but when I get my paper, I always put them all together. So we've got this one, and then this is the other side. We got this one, and here's the other side. Got this one. Here's the other side. I love this one. Here's the other side. Okay, those are pieces I've already used. Here's this one, and there's side B. We've got this one, and we've got side B. And then there's this one and side B. So I think we're just gonna grab one of these and we're gonna play, we're gonna use it up. I think we're gonna use up, let's see, which one do I wanna use up? I have so much bit, so it doesn't matter. We're gonna use this one. Actually, no, we're gonna use this one tonight. Oh, I made a few Christmas cards with it. I actually made some Christmas cards for the Brutus Monroe team with this because I wanted to showcase it so much. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do two cards. I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 5 1/4 for now. And then I'm going to cut down a little bit on each side. Let's cut this because I don't want that border on it for my card. And then we'll do 4. And then we'll see what we think. We're going to cover up a lot of the pattern paper in this case, but I'm okay with that. It's got that little bit of peeking out. So I'm embracing my pattern paperness, coloring up my pattern paperness. So we're going to go ahead and stick this together. I hoard pattern paper. Every time I go to Scrapmania and her garage sale, I always seem to buy pattern paper. Don't ask me why, because, it's not like I need any. Hey, hi. You want to come say hi? Come here. Come here. Come here. Up. Well, Francie, I can't get him to jump up for you. He's right there. He's looking at me funny. Sorry about that. I tried. He's been a good boy. He knows that Mom and Dad have got some stress issues going on. And so he's been really good boy for us. All right. So we've got that. And then I think for some extra red, I do want a little bit more red. I probably could have matted that on red too. We're going to cut down one of our tags here. I'm going to do this tag, I think. Perfect. Let's set that up here on the computer. I know. He doesn't always like to listen. And then we're going to stamp something on there, and then we get a sentiment, and we got our first card done. So we're already halfway through, but I do have an idea. I want to make at least one slimline card. A mini slim, I should say, because I love mini slim cards. So, yeah, he's been a good boy. I took him walking for the 4th of July, and all we had, well, not 4th of July, Saturday, our town does our town days. And he was so good. We went walking, and he didn't really react. We saw people. He didn't jump on anybody. He didn't, bark at any dogs or anybody. So I was really proud of him. I think I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use this little Santa Claus, and we're only going to stamp part of him on here. Like that. So, and we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and I don't want to use anything other than the kit. So I think what we're going to, as much as I can, I don't want to add in extra embossing powders and stuff. So hopefully my stamp is cleaned off. We're going to use some alabaster here. Might have to heat set this. Other than ink, I didn't want to add in too much of the other products so that I can. Oh, and I was talking about, I know what, well, we got to work fast because I think I want to try one more card at the end. So we're going to go for 3 if we can, because the one card won't take long. I used to do a, look at that. Look at that Santa. Here, I'll go there we go. Isn't that beautiful? And I think I'm going to ink a little bit along the edge just to give it a little frosty look. I'm going to take a little frostiness from Walter's card that he shared with the design team that he created today. and put a little frostiness on this. So we're just going to frost up the edges here. Now, this is where I know I talked a couple people into getting the fairy dust embossing powder. Oh, good. I'm glad I got to entertain while you were done, Christy. Thank you. Um, the fairy dust embossing powder makes wonderful, wonderful frostiness on your pattern papers. So maybe our last card, I can kind of show that. So we've got that. I want to heat set that just a bit because it is a pigment ink. And I hadn't plugged it in because I wasn't planning on using it. I don't keep my thing plugged in all the time. So, and Francie, just for you, got my tea, got my heat. I'm just going to heat set this a little bit. Okay, that'll work. It is frosty fun, exactly. I'm going to grab some of our big roll of adhesive strips, which will be back soon, Christopher said last night, if you've been waiting for that. I know, Ellen, I'm so excited for you. I need to check. I might have to buy some of that while I'm there, because I gotta go through my stash here and see what I need. Because I never think about it. I need to look at my staples. So when I have extra pieces like this, I'm not sure where she's at tonight. Oh, she might be. Is she on her trip? I don't remember when she leaves. She was leaving on a family trip and then she was going to go straight to Create Your Own Ending. I don't know when she left for that. So that might be where she's at. So we're going to go ahead and put this down. And then we need a sentiment. And then I think we're going to call this card done. I mean, it's not on a card base, but I always do that afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it down just a little bit to the lower section. And then I didn't add any ribbon or anything. Hi, Annie. I have ribbon. I don't have it. It's not in the bundle, so I didn't want to add it, which is fine. I think this is where we're going to put our sentiment. So let's grab our stamp set. And we've got Happy Holidays, ho, 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 celebrate the season, and Merry Christmas. And I think I'm just going to do the Merry Christmas. And I'm trying to decide. You know what? I think I have one stamped out already. I do. I have one in here. So I'm going to grab that and just use that. Actually, I even have a present stamped out. We'll use that too. So we'll add a little present and a little Merry Christmas, and we're good to go. Okay, let's add that on. We got to add a little bit of foam tape because I'm going to add it to the edge here. Let's glue this straight down. So when I stamp, if I stamp in any extra pieces out, if I die cut them out or I color them, I stick them back in my stamp set. I don't know if you saw that. I just stick them in the back. And then I can just grab them if I want. I do have a whole drawer, of course, of things that are redone early and do that. But you can add other things to this. Some of the fun things that came out was that Santa suit and the You're a Mean Ones shimmer splashes. Those came out last Christmas. Those are available. So those would be something you could add to your kit if you wanted to, per se, add to your stash. We're going to double up this one. We're going to double the foam. And then we'll use this little piece right here to make this part pop up. And then we'll double up this piece. Yes, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. One of the reasons if you hit the thumbs up is that helps bring the videos to other people. And it shows up in the algorithms and things like that. So there we go. We got our first one done. It's a little different for me, but I love it, with the pattern paper. Like I said, trying to use up my stash, use up my papers. It was funny digging through my Christmas stash last night. I was like, oh my goodness. So we're just going to kind of leave our whole mess here. Let's get some coloring on these really quick. I don't know if we're going to do both, but let's get Santa colored. And then we'll get him cut out and we will get our card made. And then we should have time for a third one. So I'm going to go ahead and grab, that's pink. I'm going to use my tri-blends tonight because I don't like my red, the colors I have for my Olos. I need more red. So this is just the dark red blend. I'm not going to do a lot of blending with it just because he's mostly in shadow here. And I'm just going to go ahead and color all the spots that have like the dark part. That's what I'm going to kind of color. And then it's a little bit of white with the darkest color. So just a quick color. Hit the spots here. Oh, got under his belt. A little bit of white on his robe, but that's okay. And then we'll grab actually I'm going to grab the light. So I did the dark and then I'm going to grab the light. Oh, I lied. I guess I used the dark first or the light first. So we're going to re-go over those spots real quick with the dark. Wasn't paying attention. I thought I grabbed the dark. And then we'll go back to the light. It is a beautiful stamp set. This came out during the merrymaking event last year. Or no, I'm sorry, the trimmings, traditional trimmings box. And it is very, very much one of my favorites. So, and I think we are going to just quick color up this this truck. And I'm just going to use the dark to go over those dark spots on the truck. Like I said, a very quick, fast coloring for live. So you don't have to sit and watch me color and color and color. Hi, Penny. We were just talking about it. Yes, it is beginning to look like Christmas. Next week, I will go live before Create Your Own Ending, or before I leave for Create Your Own Ending, and I will be using the new release. It is on its way to me. So shipping, with the Create Your Own Ending event has been crazy. So it will be here very shortly. And I will use the mermaids and pirates. All right. So there we go. We got a quick, fast color on our truck. And then I'm going to let that be like a wooden board back there. Just trying to see if that's the inside of the truck. It kind of looks like it. I'm coloring it red. If it looks funny, you'll just have to deal. All right. You fly out Friday. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. I keep thinking that it's like this weekend. I'm so off. I was talking to I had to talk to Jessica today and she said something to me and I'm like, oh yeah, it's only Tuesday. It'll be fine. And she's like, no, Candy, it's Wednesday. And I'm like, oh yeah, I did just post that I had my live tonight. So I'm off by so many days. But I'm okay with that. All right. Let's grab this brown. We got to color this guy up again. Let's see. Did we grab the dark? You got your shipping notice today for CYOE or your subscription stuff, Ellen? I know they were shipping furiously today. So I didn't want to keep Jess on the phone too long when I had to talk to her so that, they could do their work. All right. I've got this little brown gray that I'm going to add. Oh, I'm sure, Francie. Well, because I think they're also working on the stuff to get out for SET. And I don't, those boxes, I think, go in bulk, of course, to SET because they're the ones who ship the product out for their events. But I'm sure between that, the CYOE, and all the subscription products, it was probably pretty massive. So we're just kind of doing, like I said, a fast color. It will look great no matter what, because the shining part of our card is going to be our patterned paper. All right, we need just a little bit more. We need a little pink on his face. Not that you can see a lot of it. And then we need to color up. Let's see, I need a green. And I need a dark black color for, actually, I'm going to use a very dark, I'm going to use a very dark purpley blue. Ah, yes, yes. For his feet. It's going to be dark enough that it's kind of purpley, but it's such a shadow that you really aren't going to tell. Same thing with his belt. Just to kind of give it a differentiate with them. And then we'll grab some green. We're going to color in some of these packages. Green. And I'm going to add just a little green to the trees because they're, for the most part, you know, they're black from the ink because of the design. And you know what? Kelly, they'll be shipping this week, Kelly. They plan to ship them all out by Friday for sure. They're doing them as they can, and I know they started to ship. They've been shipping them. They tried to get all the CYOE out. I thought Christopher said last night the last of those were gonna maybe go today, tomorrow at the latest, and then subscriptions I know we're shipping today. So they were furiously shipping them. I am just coloring the trees all green because even though that you could color those with lights, you know, I think they're in the back of a truck. I don't have a decorated tree in the back of my truck, do you? Maybe. You can be. I'm just not going to. And then I'm going to grab maybe a blue to color in a couple packages just because we need a little bit more color. And Christmas packages are fun and pretty. And then we will grab a yellow kind of to fill in a little bit here and there. And then maybe one more blue. Like I said, quick, fast coloring. Okay, there we go. You're welcome, Kelly. I just know because I called today when they were, or I talked to Jess today and they were shipping furiously because I had a question for her. And well, I had a question for somebody and she's the one who answered it. She's like, we're shipping. And I said, well, go back. All righty. So now let's get these with the coordinating dies. Yes. Yep. They do have a system. Usually, I agree, when it's just like one item, because I've been in the store when they print them. They'll print all the labels for like the boxes or all the labels for just the stamp or just, you know, whatever, and then they can systematically, you know, get those out. And then when they got to combine the orders for the pick 5s and 3s or multiple things, I believe that's right. Yep. So, and then of course, I think some of it depends on if you're a new subscriber or something like that. So, versus the ones that are in the system and that automatically, like if you just subscribed, your order number would be different than somebody who, I don't know that for sure. In my head, that's what makes sense. So, all right, we're going to use the coordinating dies to cut these out. And I just want to make sure I have it lined up. I think it's lined up just a little. I'm sorry for my head. That looks better. It's always different when you look sideways than if you look on it straight on. So our first card, we used all of the kits. The second card, I love that this cuts out the little pieces behind. Isn't that great? And then the second card we're going to use, I am going to add some embossing powder. I hope that's okay. I want to show you the frosty look I was talking about. And then the third card that I'm hoping to get done will be fairly simple. It is something I used to do on my YouTube channel, and I'm thinking about doing once a month when I do my lives. But normally it'll be with the subscription products. But tonight we're going to try to do it with the the kit. So there we go. I kind of hurried that one up. I didn't line that one up perfectly, but it is pretty good to me. Sorry, I was rushing a little bit. So I've got some extra Merry Christmases and Happy Holidays. I've got the snowman. I've got a Happy Holidays. So we might use those since they're all done. Let's get the stuff cleaned up and out of my way. All right. So one of my favorite ways. Oh, yeah, Ellen, it is. Yep. I agree with you, Francie. I do too. One of my favorite ways to use pattern paper, and I'm going to go through and let's choose this one. I don't know if I've used this one first. Now, do we like this one with our tree or do we like this one with our Santa? What do you guys think? You guys let me know. You think about that while I cut this down. One of my favorite ways to use our pattern paper pads is to just cut them in half because they're 6 inches and cut them right at 3 inches. And you got the perfect background. And look, I can make 2 cards out of this for a mini slim card. Sorry, I just shook you there. And I'm going to show you. You can do it. Here is on Jurassic. And now you can cut this down. Santa, okay. You can cut this down. You can have the wide border. This is 3 inches, so this is 3.5. I a lot of times will cut this down to 3.25. And then here it is. I know this isn't D, but I will show you on the red. So I'm going to use the green. I like the green. And we are going to trim this down to 3.25. All right, Santa it is. Thank you. That will work perfect for the truck. So, and when I cut my if I cut it to 3.5 to start and then I go to 3.25, I save this little piece because it can be a border, which we might do tonight. And I want to use this one. Okay. But what we're going to do is this is where I'm going to add on just one. I'm going to use the fairy dust. Okay, you guys, I do want to add a little bit of this. This is really fun. I had a great time making cards like this before. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to shoot 2 different ways. Yes, it would. It would be. It would be with, and then, but we have the other stuff too. We might grab another one, Francie. I'm going to use a little alabaster and I'm just going to swipe it on in a couple of spots. And then I'm going to grab my embossing ink and do the same thing. Just kind of wipe it in a couple spots. You're not really going to see it. And then we're just going to put this fairy dust on top. I'm going to shake it kind of hard. It's just going to give it this little bit. You can do the whole paper. You can do the little bit of paper. And then before I heat set that, you can see it. You can see the glitter. What you can also do then is you can make it not perfect, is go in and kind of make it wispy with a pen, with like a, it kind of just depends how you want it to look. Obviously, we're going a little, when I craft on my own, it takes me forever to make a card because I'm second guessing myself. This time, Francie, I'm using my hands. I'm just going to go ahead and heat set. So there's not a huge difference between the clear and the white, but the white does give it a little bit more of a frosty appeal. Especially if you have a darker cardstock or where it hits the darker colors. But this is a great way. You know those fancy cards at that fancy store and they have the glitter on them? This is a great way to add glitter to your Christmas cards or any of your cards. All right. So now you can I'll flip it in the light. It'll be kind of hard. You can okay, so right up here you can kind of see there's a little bit of the shimmer. It's going to be hard to see, but there is a little bit of a frosty look to it in person. Oops, I'm off camera. I'm sorry. So, but you see that they've got that shine. And so when you see it in person, you're like, oh, I'm just going to touch and make sure I got it. Okay. And then there's actually a little bit of a halo in the middle, which is hard to. Yeah, I have clothespins. I just don't use them. See, I have one right here. I have another one somewhere else. My fingers are used to it. I worked in kitchens for so long. I sometimes forget and almost grab a hot pan. And then I'm like, duh, grab a hot pad. Can't grab that pan. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mat this down. And I'm going to do it right down the middle. I think I cut this just a little bit short, so we are going to trim it. I don't, but I have almost done it. At work, where I used to work at, there's a gas station in town that I worked at, and I worked in the kitchen for a year. There were a couple times we didn't really have hot pads because you cooked way too much. You had, I don't remember how to describe what we used tongs to get the trays in and out. And I would set them on the, the metal table, and I wouldn't think about it. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd get close, but I'd be like, oh yeah, nope, those are hot. So we got that frosty glow, and then we're going to go ahead and put Santa on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and throw a sentiment. And it's very, very, very kind of a basic card, but beautiful in my opinion. So I'm gonna pop up Santa, I think. I get it, Francie. I really do, but I promise I learned my lesson, and I'm very, very careful. If I'm using something small, I always use my tweezers or my a tooth or a clothespin. But when it comes to the big pieces where I can hold it, half of it, nah. I'm just gonna go for it. Thank you. I'm embarrassed to tell you how many pieces. Yep, that's exactly what I do too. If it's tiny, I mean, I use my little tweezers, or I have a couple different sets of tweezers. Otherwise, for the most part, yeah, Fletch is chasing a bunny in his dream, you guys. He's going, I can hear him, and I can hear his little legs running. So he is sleeping good. So I'm going to go ahead and put him down right kind of where the glow is, where the non-sparkly part is. And then we're going to just put our sentiment down. Hi, Michelle. I also use my teeth more than I should. Open things. I'll pull my needle out all the time, or whatever this is, my pin with my teeth. We're just going to tuck that down underneath. And then I need a card base. I do want to put this one on a card base because it is a mini slimline card. And it's a little bit short, see? And then the white around your stamp ties in very nicely with cutting that down to 3.25 and the 3-inch pattern paper. You can make very, very, very quickly can make a bunch of Christmas cards this way, or cards in general this way with a pattern paper pack. There we go. So, and of course you could add bling, you could add splatter, you could do whatever you want for tonight's purposes. I'm trying to stay as close to the kit as I can, like I said before. So I'm going to put that one up here, and then we're going to go ahead and get our last card done for tonight. So what I was saying earlier is, before I did lives and I was doing videos, and it might have started even before I was on the inspiration team, I had a little series on my YouTube channel, which is under Sugar Cards and Candy B. Hi, Tina. And thank you. Called A Stencil and a Stamp. And I would grab a stencil and one stamp set, and I'd make a card, and that's it. I mean, other than ink, things like that. So we're going to do that tonight. And I did check to see. I want to use This is going to do a little bit from our traditional kit, a little bit, but we're going to kind of use it. This is the traditional, or the petite pines, and it is in stock. We're going to ink blend it. Oops, sorry guys. I'm not used to this new setup. I've debated about moving my setup to my other desk for when I film, but there's nowhere for me to put my computer. So, because then I have a little bit more space, and yeah, see, I just shook it. I really apologize for that. Um, we're gonna grab some Jurassic cardstock here. I got all sorts of stuff ready here. And we're just gonna do some ink blending. And I think once again, we're gonna ink blend the whole thing, but we might cut it down and just have some fun with it. And then I need this one I'm gonna use a little just blending brush, because it's got the fine points that I don't like to use the foam daubers because they will stick. So Melissa, you hold on to that thought, okay? Certainly. You just wait till after I get back from Pittsburgh. Okay? I got a couple tricks up my sleeve, but I'm going to wait till next week. It's not super hard. The biggest thing is kind of watching the comments. But there's a few things I think I have to figure out about first. So we'll work on it, Melissa. How does that sound? And I am not opposed to ever going live with our other team members. I've done that before. Crafted together live. I did that with Jessica last year. I think it was Jessica. I don't remember who it was with. It was with somebody last year. They wanted to do a live or something. So if you can be patient with me for about a week and a half. So it's funny because I like lives. I like watching lives when I'm in my craft room or when I watch them, but I don't necessarily like watching the lives all the time after. Not everyone's lives. It's just some lives because the comments are so fast and they're distracting. And I need to just turn the comments off when some of those that are just where it's just so fast and you can't see them, because then I read the comments and I don't pay attention. But I don't like to edit software, so I don't necessarily want to. It's not fun. It takes a long time to edit software if you haven't done that before. So Melissa, don't worry about it. Like I said, I gotcha. We can do it together. All right, ready for the reveal? So this was Fake Plant on Jurassic. I think this is super fun. So we got our stencil. Now, when I do the stencil and the stamp, I do add things like, maybe some embossing powder or other things. But for the most part, it's not a lot of anything. It's a stamp and a stencil, because I do want to add just a little bit of embossing powder. We're going to do that same kind of effect we did before, but we are going to go ahead and use the, clear. Now we're going to get a little bit of extra because I didn't use an anti-static powder tool, and I didn't, and I will tell you, because Simon Hurley's inks will stay a little wet, and I used pixie spray. So there may be lots of this. All of these might turn, and that's okay. I won't see how it's sticking. I don't know if we're going to do the whole card. I know I just added a lot of embossing powder to this whole thing, but I'm going to brush a little bit of that off like I showed you before. Because this just adds a little bit of, it's a Christmas card, and I think Christmas cards need glitz and glimmer and all that sugary stuff, in my opinion. That's the fun part. I didn't do the 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. That means I have to do it again. All right. So I'm going to go ahead with my paintbrush, and I'm just kind of brushing off a little bit extra of this because I kind of want the glow around the outside. I don't want it to be perfect. It's thicker in some spots, not thicker in others. And then I'm going to carefully tap it down underneath. So there we go. Oh, yeah. Sometimes I jump the gun. I think it's from being a teacher. and just trying to get things done so that kids are paying attention and not wanting to go somewhere else. So now if you really wanted to blitz this up, you could do the whole panel. And you're going to see where it hit. I hit more with the embossing powder than I did with the light touches. Obviously, I hit it on this corner a little bit more. Woo-hoo. There we go. I promise I didn't burn. The reveal countdown. I will do better. So there we go. So we've got our little stencil. Now we got our stamp, and our stamp is our little tree or a little pine tree. So this is a very, very, very simple. Your fireworks frenzy box came to. Ooh, Christy, I'm excited for you. I didn't order anything yet. I'm trying to be good because I'm gonna be there next week. So I'm gonna cut it down just a hair because I've got the white around my stamp set, and I want the white for my card base. Yes. I think it's just fun to do, like I said, just a simple card. And I think if you have a stencil, any basic stencil, if you don't have a lot of stencils, you can create some great cards. I think my original stencil and a stamp, I'm looking for my eyeball in here to make sure I get my trees kind of, I did it on the card base even. So, oh, that's awesome, Christy. So we've got that. We've got this. We need a card base, which I've got right here. So I'm going to show you. See how it pops with that little bit of white. And then we've got our happy holidays. And we've got our card. It's, like I said, fairly simple, but it works. Now, things that you could do differently is you could pop this up with foam tape. You could cut multiples of the white, or with white, and then, stack them. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to place it right in the middle. And then we're just going to stick our, you can see I must have done something wrong because I flipped it over and stamped on the other side. Probably moved it. And then I think we're going to stick this down in this corner. And then I pulled stencils for playing, was amazed at how many. Yeah, Ellen, you don't want to know. Matter of fact, my sister was here in March and I let her go through I went through the stencils that I knew were still in stock and that I really, really love. And I kind of hid those, but I let her go through all my stencils because she does mixed media and journaling and stuff. And I let her take some home. And a couple of them, I'm like, and not knowing at the time, I could have used for their, they are still in stock, but I knew that I didn't know what was coming up. So I had the fairy portal and I could have used that with the storybook one. And then a couple of them that she took, I think would work really well with this release, which I'm okay with because, I can always buy them again next week when I'm there. So I think we need a little bling. Awesome, Christy. Those are really good ones, in my opinion. You can do a lot of things with them. The fancy fans, because it's not just, these are the emerald green crystals. They're not just fireworks. I mean, they can be streamers. I mean, they can be fireworks, because they can be bursts and streamers for like birthday parties and things like that. And you could really almost make them into a tree of some sort if you think about it. Think if you could do it on watercolor paper with a water reactive ink or an oxide and spray it, it might spread out and become more like tree and watercolory, which would be interesting. Francie, do you got your glasses? Because I am getting ready to poke. I think we're just going to do 3. So, yeah, always a little bling. I think you can't almost have too much bling, especially when it comes to holiday cards. Because It's one of the best parts about the holiday. All the lights and shininess. So it's not, my camera's a little farther away, so you don't get quite poked as much. There we go. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take my cloth. We're just going to, like I said, tap those down to pull up any of the extra, helps get one of those glue dabblers. And we are there, you guys. So I did it. 3 cards in an hour. Well, this one needs to go on a card base. Let's put it on a card base. We'll make it 3 official cards. And I have 3 official Christmas cards ready for this year. That is fun. And I know exactly what I'm going to do with them. All right, so this one is the full card base. So we're going to make sure we line that up good. Here we go. You also bought all, Christy, I've looked at them multiple times, but I have like more than one. You felt sorry for them. Because I'm like, when I had one and I'm like, well, I should buy a second one, because then when I'm cutting out multiples, especially with flowers and stuff, I don't have to die cut more than once. I can cut out 2. There we go, you guys. I'm sorry for the mess up here, crafter math, but there are the Christmas cards. This one is using just the traditional trimmings kit and some white paper and ink. This one is mostly the traditional trimmings kits, but we added the embossing powder, a fairy dust embossing powder, and of course the card base. And this one we added the petite pines and the embossing powder and the emeralds. Must take stick to Pittsburgh. Oh, Christy, you don't even have the stamps? Oh, well, keep a lookout on the stash sites. Maybe you'll find them if they're available. I have a few that I don't have stamps for. I have the dies, but I don't have the stamps for, and I have hold out hope that I will find them someday. So thank you, you guys. We made 3 cards in an hour. Penny, you have a fabulous time on your trip. I will see you next week in person and not just on camera. I will see you guys on Wednesday next week. Have a great week. I'll be in the chat probably tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you next Wednesday.